have a tin of H.H. Mature Virginia by McBaron. They no longer make this. And you can see this is from November 2012, 11 years ago. Unfortunately, the seal broke, so we have to rehydrate this. I found it in my cellar like this. It's all rusted up. This is dry. This is dry. Yeah, bone dry. So we're going to have to rehydrate this. Okay, what I'm going to do is take this all out. Now, this is bone dry. Now you're probably thinking, well, Dion, you like bone dry stuff. Well, in this case, this has been dried out for a long time. And, wow, there's a lot of rust in here. It's been dried out a long time. Why not just smoke it the way it is? But that's the thing. It's too dry. And it's been dry too long. So the aging process stopped. Wow. Yeah, unfortunately, this is really dry. Alright, so what you want to do is just fan this all out like you would do opening a new tin. Now, this is a 3.5 ounce tin. I have 4 of these paper towels, and what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 extra paper towel on the top. Just spread this all out. Break it up. Try not to be too rough with it, because it's so dry it will start turning to dust. So you have to be careful with it. Every situation's different. This is bone dry, so this was dried out for, that seal broke probably more than a year ago, at least a year. It's bone dry. Sometimes, now I've gotten tins in the mail where they were dry, or they're cracked rather, and they weren't dry. So I just jarred it right away. This, unfortunately, we have to rehydrate it before. Okay, now I have 5. Okay, the reason why I have 5 towels is because I'm going to wet this and it's going to shrink a little bit. So let's get this wet. Okay, I wetted it and squeezed it out. I saturated, but I didn't keep it under the water all. Now the fun part is to take this apart without breaking any of these seals. And we're just going to place this over top. Here we go. We're just going to place this over top. Looks like we got some stragglers here. Make sure it's all covered like that. Now what's going to happen is the moisture from this towel is going to go down into the tobacco. So you have to keep your eye on this, because when this starts to dry, it starts to dry out, you got to take this off. Otherwise, you're going to start drying the tobacco out again. So keep your eye on it. I'll let you know when we come back how long this took. Okay, it's been out for about an hour now, and you can actually, there's still dampness to it, but the paper towels are starting to dry up in little sections. It's kind of very hard to see, but what you can do is, now you see these little brown spots on the inside? You don't want too much of that. That's the moisture going into the tobacco, getting wet from the moisture of the towel, and then some of the juices, which is part of the flavoring that you're going to taste, the age and all that, all the goodness is starting to come onto the paper towel. So you take that off, and I can feel that's damp, and it's not as crispy. So the very top of this has the most moisture. Okay, the very top, you can see. The very top has the most moisture. The paper towel on the bottom was bone dry, obviously. So anything laying on the bottom is probably still dry, if not drier. But we're going to mix this all up. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a mason jar. Now make sure this is clean. You can have an older jar, but just make sure you clean. Even a new jar, clean it up, because there's impurities in here from the factory. During the annealing process, there's impurities coming out. But anyway, always wash the jar, regardless if you used it, if it's used or if it's new. And we're gonna, you can definitely. There's a lot of give to that now, a lot of give, and we're just gonna put this in this mason jar. I use these. I have the indentation ones. I forget the actual name of these. I use it just for this purpose. I use the open wide pints for my main storage. I'll stick 8 ounces in there. And I have the little tiny jelly ones. I think they're labeled jelly. For like 2 ounces or less. And that works fine for them. But that's the only size jars I have. So what you want to do, try to get this, oh, I'm making a mess. Get that all in there. All right, make sure this is clean. Make sure that's clean. We'll throw that on top. Now you have a choice of, putting your the name on there or whatever. What I like to do, since this is a dried out tin, I'll do this like that. I'll keep that tin just for, I don't have too many of these. I usually write a date on here. I'll write today's date on here, because I'm going to let this sit at least 6 months, if not longer. What I want to do is, now this is like the opposite of drying the tobacco out. It's the dead opposite. I introduced moisture to this only on certain pieces, which were on top. So certain pieces are not as wet as others. They don't have enough moisture as other pieces. So all that has to even out. And the only way for that to even out is in a sealed container. So and for that you need time. Time has to take effect. This is how I do it. Others do it other ways. Some just put a wet towel in this. I did that before. I found that that's not enough moisture. But however you do it, make sure it's sealed. Make sure you let it sit a good 6 months. Like I said, I stumbled upon this tin in my cellar looking for another tin. Found it was cracked. Actually, just by picking it up, I noticed it was lighter. And it just literally just did that. And you can see, and I checked all my other tins of this this blend. They're fine, but they have different dates. This was the oldest one I had. I think all the other ones were 13. So it doesn't hurt to check these every so often, because you have to go in there and I have to do this. So all right, I hope that helps. That's all I got, and we'll see you on the next one.